Hey.
Hey! Wait, this is your place?
Me and the 2 other girls.
Wow, it's beautiful. I'm a waitress's wages too.
Waitressing is my cover. I'm part of an international drug smuggling ring.
Oh yeah. Right, well, that makes sense.
Seriously. Eat-on.
What is wrong with you?
I'm a mule.
You're insane.
Possibly. But twice a month, we take turns in flying to the Dominican Republic and bring a few things back. It's smooth sailing, really. Or flying.
You're serious?
Mm-hmm.
But it's illegal.
But it's perfectly safe. You should join us. With your wide-eyed, innocent Bambi looks, you'd breeze right through.
Are you nuts? So, what, you just tell a perfect stranger this and then try to recruit me?
I have good instincts. I can read people. And I have a gut instinct about you, Piper.
And you trust me? What if I tell someone?
Well, first, who would believe such a preposterous story? And second, that would be very, very stupid of you, Piper. And yes, I do trust you. Think about it. We have a spare room.
Just don't know how you could. We tried so hard and so long for this baby. And now look at me. I look like a bloody panda.
No, you don't. Well, a little bit, maybe. Besides, pandas are cute.
Bridget was one of those sales reps he works with. These short skirts. You know they're always trying to land doctors.
Greg's not a doctor.
I know. Dropped out of college. But he sells Viagra at close. Oh, what am I saying? Viagra. Something bad was bound to happen.
It's really not your fault.
How could I have not seen this coming?
You want the honest to God truth?
Please.
The second you see that little kid's face, nothing else will matter. All this stupid, silly bullshit fades into the background. That little one is your whole world.
I hear you split so wide you could poke an ice cream van in there.
Oh my God, yeah. He looks like a sleeping bag with a zipper torn off. 100%.
Oh.
Oh, and do not get me started on your nipples, my friend.
Oh. Please, no.
More wine?
Bloody cow. Oh my God.
What is it?
He's breaking up with me in a text. And it's you.
Nancy, I'm so sorry.
Why?
I love him.
Get out! Get out of my house now!
Stay back!
I will. My name's Charlotte. I'd like us to talk. It's okay. I'm not a police officer. I'm a doctor. Emma. Is Izzy okay?
He wasn't looking after her at all. I was waiting and waiting, he was just jabbering on his phone. One word and I would have put her down.
Daniel made a mistake, and he'll never forgive himself, ever. He loves Izzy very much.
Love is when you don't make mistakes.
Will you tell me about Christopher?
His dad was nowhere to be seen. That man wasn't fit to look after a dog.
What happened yesterday?
I always told him to be careful on the roads. It's the cars. They drive too fast.
You know, he wouldn't have felt any pain. I'm a doctor, I can promise you that.
I just wanted to go to the hospital to see him, to tell him he was my son.
But he wasn't your son, Emma.
He never knew that. And I loved him more than any mother.
I believe you. I know what it's like when you can't have kids of your own. Just seeing all these other families just seem to take them for granted. You know?
Half of these women shouldn't be mothers at all.
It must be time for her feed. Will you come back inside now?
Hi, I'm Tanya. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Catherine Wilson, Robert's wife, his third wife. We were only together for 14 months, but it was the most wonderful 14 months of my life.
Yes, he was certainly an interesting man.
And your family?
I guess in a way we were all part of his family.
I'm sorry, how do you know Robert?
Oh, he was my pimp.
I'm sorry, what?
He was my pimp.
Are you at the right funeral? This is Robert Morris.
Yep, Robert Harry Morris, the nicest pimp any working girl could ever have.
There must be some mistake. Robert was in real estate?
Nope, Bobby, as we called him, was a pimp. But he was one of the good ones. Never made any unreasonable rules, always let us have days off, and never beat us.
Us? Oh, how many were they?
15. We all lived in nice, clean apartments too. Maybe that's where the real estate came from.
This is ridiculous. You're talking rubbish.
Hey, I don't want to fight with you, lady. I just came here to pay my respects to Bobby, your husband. I don't think we'll ever find another pimp like him. I mean, who else could help us bring in 12 grand a month and only take 25%?
Did you just say £12,000 a month?
Yep.
Look,
Bobby, left me this huge apartment complex. I can get you ladies in, and we can bring profit up to £20,000.
We. What are you saying?
I think I'd like to take over from my newly departed husband.
Well, I'd have to talk to the girls, but if you could think about 20% and daycare expenses, we might have something.
I'm thinking, Tanya. I'm thinking.
Catherine, you're way cooler than any of his other wives.
I've read fairy tales with more truth in them. We're supposed to be a team.
Okay. I left a few details out, and Rob Hollins doesn't get a pat on the back today. Haven't you got anything else to worry about?
I do, as it happens. I counted at least 8 bags of powder in that kitchen, and only 7 were handed in as evidence. You were the exhibits officer.
You saying I'm Ben?
Just asking the question. Now, we talking about sloppy police work, or is there something else going on here?
What if I put it back?
Oh, Christ. How could you be so bloody stupid?
Rob, this divorce is going to clean me out. And
What, you thought you'd do a spot of dealing? Just keep the ex-wife sweet? Well, did you just fancy a new lifestyle to go with a new bit on the side?
I'm going to have to offer Susie some kind of future.
You was a drug dealer?
He was just there. I didn't think anyone would notice. And it felt good. I needed the rush, okay? Let me read you the report. I'll put the evidence back. No one needs to know.
How long have you known me?
Oh, come on, Rob. I'm a good copper.
You were, maybe. Well, had the chance to be anyway.
What, you're going to turn me in?
Hey, you want to walk out on your young wife, that's your affair. But you put the uniform on, it means something.
All right. I screwed up. So, I'm not perfect.
What about next time? When some kid uses a knife because you didn't pat him down? You're too busy chasing this rush. There's enough dodgy coppers on the force. We don't need another one.
Of course, you've done this before, haven't you? D.I. Lucas lost a job because of you. You get a reputation as a whistleblower, and no uniform's going to trust you again. So, before you go and squeal, think about what you're doing.
Don't make me do this, Dean.
But let it go. Give me the chance to get a life.
What, with Floozy's Susie?
Hey! Don't call her that.
Dean, she's playing you. She's only interested in working her way up the ranks. I've seen it before. Look at the bloody mess she's landed you in.
Help me, mate. Please.
She's so obviously trying to get back in your favour.
Come on.
She's using your bathroom.
She's allowed to. She lives here.
I thought she was at her sister's. When did she slide back in?
Yesterday. And this place is half hers, you know?
Well, she got lucky there, didn't she?
Till death do us part. Right?
Or until she sleeps with one of your mates?
Let it go, Stacey.
It should break your heart.
And I'm dealing with it. In my own way.
By bottling it all up and taking her back.
You don't know what I'm doing.
You're starting to forget. I know that.
No, I'm not.
And you're starting to forgive her, which is even worse.
Hey, let me worry about it. It's my marriage. Okay? You focus on your own relationship.
Well, that's well and truly down the toilet. And I couldn't care less.
You say that now, but it can be tough being on your own. Maybe you shouldn't be so carefree about your life.
Is that why you've taken her back? Because you're scared of being alone?
Not at all. But I'm a young dad. Do I want to be a single dad? Seeing my kid on the weekend and living in some dumpy flat around the corner?
She wasn't faithful. You'd get custody.
Don't be stupid. The court always goes with the mother.
Not always.
Well, it doesn't matter because I'm not leaving her.
Why not? You can't possibly love her after what she did to you.
Because I'm not going to be a statistic, okay? McDonald's dad? No, thank you. I've invested too much time, too much effort. It's worth trying to salvage, you know?
Make it sound like the Titanic. It's not a shipwreck.
Yours is.
So what? Make it sink down the bottom of the ocean and stay there.
Well, that's the difference between me and you, Stace. Some things are actually worth fighting for.
Isn't your life difficult enough without having to fight?
What choice do I have? I'm not losing my marriage or Ben's mother over some stupid petty indiscretion. I'm gonna make it work.
Such a good man, Joshua Hicks.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
So, what's he look like?
Why?
He sounds strange.
Jesus, Anne, get a life. Besides, if I wanted to fuck his brains out, what business is it of yours?
So, let me get this straight. He turned the camera on and you talked? About what?
He just asked me questions.
Questions about what?
Questions about sex.
Oh, like, what did he ask exactly?
Well, like, I don't want to tell you. Exactly.
Did he ask you to take your clothes off?
Did he ask me to take my clothes off? No, he didn't.
Did you take your clothes off?
Yes, I did.
Cynthia?
What?
Why'd you do that?
Because I wanted to.
Why'd you want to?
Because I wanted him to see me.
Cynthia, God knows where that footage could end up. He could be splashing it all over the internet as we speak.
He wouldn't do that.
Did he touch you?
No.
Did you touch him?
No.
Did anybody touch anybody?
Well, yes.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You didn't.
I did.
Oh, sis, you're in trouble.
What is this? Listen to you. You sound like Mum.
Don't even know him.
I feel like I do.
But you don't. You can't possibly trust him. He's perverted.
Oh, he's harmless. He just sits around and watches these home movies. What's wrong with that?
So he's got this whole catalog of women touching themselves. That doesn't creep you out.
You're not the one who did it. I did. So if it doesn't bother me, why should it bother you?
Bollocks to him.
You don't mean that?
I do. Really, I do.
So, you were together 2.5 years and you've been sitting here like suicide on a stick for a week.
9 days, Anna.
But, bollocks to him.
Yes, I mean, why hasn't he even called to see if I'm okay and to admit that he's a twat?
Hello, Helen. It's Jerry. I'm a twat. Please come home. I love you.
Oh, I don't care anyway. Bollocks to him. I'm over him.
Oh, you're over him?
Yes. Totally and utterly and completely over him.
No, you're not.
I am.
You're not.
I know, I am. What do you mean I'm not? How do you know I'm not?
Well, two things really. One, you're still counting how long you've been apart in days and probably hours and minutes. And two, you're still reading the horoscope
Hey!
in the hope that they're going to get crushed in some rare freak earthquake.
Smart ass.
What is he?
A wanker. Oh, Aries.
Aries. Well, it just shows how much I know. With Mars, your ruler in the ascendancy, you will get crushed in some rare freak earthquake, and Helen says bollocks to you. This guy's very good.
You go. No, I will. No, you. I'm not in, I'm out.
You don't know where or who with, especially who with.
Quickly, go on.
I'm not answering the door like this.
Please, you have to. It won't be him anyway.
So there's no big deal, is there?
Bollocks to him. Bollocks to him. Bollocks.
I was wondering where you were. Oh, I didn't see you next door.
Susan won't let me in.
I quite like Susan, but she gets a little short sometimes, doesn't she? I wonder how Steve puts up with her.
I wonder how she puts up with him.
Well, I guess that's what marriage is, isn't it? Putting up. You know, I'm glad you're here. There's something I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh yeah?
We've been mates a long time, haven't we, Mike?
Since we started school. Yeah, quite a few years ago now, mate.
And you always seem to look out for me.
Well, I was pretty sporty. And you were pretty scrawny. What's up?
Oh, it's Sarah. She's being a little distant right now.
Yeah?
She thinks I slept with that girl.
Did you?
No, of course not.
So, there's no problems then? Did you tell Sarah that?
Well, I did, but she doesn't believe me. I don't know what to do. You got any advice?
Hey, Raj. You know I'm not much of a relationship expert. I've managed to dodge that bullet so far.
No, you're not, are you? So what was it like, Mike?
What?
Finally fucking my wife.
I love her.
You've made that clear, haven't you?
I'm really sorry,
Shut
mate.
your mouth.
It was her choice.
Really? Because I thought she chose me, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should go and ask her.
You don't have to do that.
Yes, I do.
Why?
Were you able to stop yourself, Mike?
It's not you, Sam. It's not you.
I didn't even know.
Because you've been faking.
Faking? For how long?
A few months.
Months? How many months?
I don't know. 3, 4, 7?
7? 7 months? Why?
I don't know. My mind starts going and I just click off.
Well, we'll fix it. How about a couple of weeks ago with the ski mask?
Afraid not. Sam,
What?
what about someone else?
Someone else? You want someone else? You don't want me?
That's not what I'm saying. What about someone else alone?
What? 2 people? You think if there was 2 people...
Just think about it for a second before you...
Listen. What we decide to do to get your little engine over the mountain is between us. Got it? Us.
Okay. Chill out. Remember the times with the figs?
Yeah.
Remember the big truck? It's not you, Sam.
Yeah, well, men think that way.
I love you.
Love you too.
Don't give up on me, Sam.
Vanessa,
Mm-hmm.
just out of curiosity, were you thinking of a male person, someone else? Or a female person, someone else?
So, listen. I made a reservation for dinner for us, and I want us to get used to the whole living together thing.
That is so sweet.
You didn't have to move in, you know.
It's either come back here or go back to the nut house.
It's not a nut house, it's a hospital. And last time it helped you.
Why did you give me that look when I was talking to the removal man?
We were paying him by the hour. He was slowing up without distractions.
I was just trying to motivate him.
Hey Dave, if you're really nice, I'll show you my tattoo. Only mine is not so obvious. And I never break promises, only hurts. Why do you throw yourself at guys like that?
I was just flirting. Besides, I have a boyfriend.
Sure.
I do?
This situation is string attached. Number 1, you go to Dr. Lewis twice a week. Number 2, no department stores.
Number 3, no going to pubs. Number 4, homebound midnight. I know guys for at least 2 months.
That's the deal.
Don't be like that. He's a really great fella. He knows about my problems. He's gonna keep an eye on me.
And what's going to happen when this relationship goes pear-shaped?
Who says it will?
Oh, the drug dealer, Phil? Could that have worked out if Mom and I had kept out? Or that real shit, the one who tried to pull me while you were in hospital? Ah, that was a match made in heaven.
Christ, I really am a loser. Maybe I should just go back to the loony bin.
I'm not saying that.
Then what are you saying?
I'm saying I think you're making a mistake. And I'm afraid you are going to get hurt.
Then for God's sake, let me suffer for it. If I get my heart broken, then so be it. I'll be fine.
What if you're not? What if you get caught shoplifting again and you go to prison this time?
That won't happen.
Why?
Because I won't let it.
That's what you always say, and nothing ever changes. I'm not having it, Heather. Stick with the deal we all made, or leave now.
Fine.
Home birth. Who knew it'd be like that?
Very messy.
Yeah. I'm covered in.
Good thing you guys, team parents.
You know what they say, it takes a village to raise a child.
Like the ones in Ghana when you fed the Ebola orphans.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Your daughter has no collection of this, by the way.
Mm. She was just a baby, she wouldn't remember.
You didn't even go to nursing school either, did you?
No. No, I didn't. But after what happened there, I'm really glad.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Are you still in love with your ex?
Kind of.
Right. So, do I even have a shot here?
Kind of. Are you mad?
Kind of.
Do you still like me?
Kind of. What on earth is this on your arm?
You don't want to know.
Well, it's about time. I've been here ages.
Eddie, right? Jim Turner. People call me Jimmy. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, right.
Let's see what's going on here. Oof! Third strike. That's gonna hurt.
Whatever, Jimmy.
Possession. B&E. Wowza, you fell in with a rough crowd, as my mother would say.
You think I'm going to snitch? Or tell you anything at all? About anybody?
Depends on how smart you are. How smart are you, Edward?
Smart enough to keep my mouth shut, always.
Right, okay. Well, let's go then.
Where are we going?
Home. My shift's done. Drop you off.
So you're not going to charge me with anything?
No offense, but nobody really cares about you. If you're not going to talk, we might just free up the room. Hey, do you mind if we grab a bite to eat along the way? My treat. I didn't get lunch. What's that place you like to hang out? Amin's?
Amir's.
Amir's, that's right. Great shawarma. Hello? Is it meat you're looking for? I'll tell you what. We'll grab a seat by the window. Do some people watching. We watch them, and they watch us. You on Instagram?
No, I'm not.
You are now.
What is your problem, man?
Me? No problem at all, but you might have one now that we're Insta buddies.
No one's going to fall for that.
You'd be surprised, Edward. Already established that you lot are not too smart.
Stop calling me Edward. And what is this? You trying to get me beaten up or something?
Hey, well, now, that's totally up to you, isn't it? Not me.
You know, when I said I didn't know much about love, that wasn't true. I know a lot about love. I've seen it. I've seen centuries and centuries of it. It's the only thing that made looking down at your world bearable. All the wars, pain, lies, and hate made me want to turn away and never look down again. But to see the way that mankind loves, I mean, you could search the farthest reaches of the universe and never find anything more beautiful. So yes, I know that love is unconditional, but I also know that it can be unpredictable, unexpected, uncontrollable, unbearable, and strangely easy to mistake for loathing. And, well, what I'm trying to say, Tristan, is I think I love you. My heart, it feels like my chest can barely contain it. Like it doesn't belong to me anymore, it belongs to you. And if you wanted it, I would ask for nothing in return. No gifts, no goods, no demonstrations of devotion, nothing, but just knowing you love me too. Just your heart in exchange for mine.
You didn't even flinch, did you? You took her little life without so much as a thought. I hate you. I wish to God I never laid eyes on you. Why couldn't you have died over there? When so many good men perished, why did you come back to do this to me, to my father? You think I'd have you? You think I need you because my womb lusts for your manhood? You think I'd have your child? Your bastard. Or take your name in marriage? Come to think of it, I don't even know your family name. You're nothing to me. No. Don't tell me. Who'd I be? Mrs. Bootblack? Mrs. Minion? Mrs. Arse-Licker? Well, Monsieur John, I think I'm made of sterner stuff. I won't run away.
God likes to watch. He's a prankster. Think about it. He gives man instincts. He gives you these extraordinary gifts. And then what does he do? I swear, for his own amusement, his own private cosmic gag reel, he sets the rules in opposition. It's the goof of all time. Look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't taste. Taste, but don't swallow. And while you're jumping from one foot to the next, what is he doing? He's laughing his sick fucking ass off. He's a tight ass. He's a sadist. He's an absentee landlord. Worship that. Never. Why? Because I'm here on the ground with my nose in it since the whole thing began. I've nurtured every sensation man has been inspired to have. I cared about what he wanted, and I never judged. I'm a fan of man. I'm a humanist. Maybe I'm the last humanist. The 20th century was entirely mine. All of it. All of it mine, Kevin. I'm peaking. It's my time now. It's our time.
You're beginning to get the idea, Clark. We could have changed the world. Now, look at us. I've become a political liability. And you're You're a joke. I want you to remember, in all your days to come, in your most private moments, I want you to remember my hand on your throat. I want you to remember the one man who beat you. I'll see you.
Let me tell you again, Grace, how important it is to give everyone a chance. Here's what I do. I always start with Mary, and I tell them we must choose our Mary carefully because Mary was a mother of Jesus. Yes. And then I tell them about Joseph and how he was God's choice to be Jesus' father. And that's how I explain that. Frankly, I don't spend too much time on Joseph, as it's always Elmer Hopkins and he knows all about Mary and Joseph. But I do explain about the shepherds and the wise men, and I do tell them there are no small parts, only small actors. Remind the angel choir not to wear earrings or things like that. Don't let them wear clunky shoes or high heels. Oh, and I hope you don't have too many baby angels, Grace, because they'll be your biggest problem. You'll have to get someone to push the baby angels on, otherwise they get in each other's way and bend their wings. Bob, he could do that. He could also keep an eye on the shepherds. Oh, another thing about the angel choir. Don't let them wear lipstick. They think because it's a play, they need to wear lipstick, and it looks terrible. So tell them, Grace. Oh, and don't just use anybody's baby for Jesus. Get a quiet one. Better yet, get two. Then when one gets a bit fussy, you can always switch them.
Exactly. Parker's a young kid, pretty good on the sax, gets up to play in a cutting session, then he fucks it up, and Jones nearly decapitates him for it. Then he's laughed off stage, cries himself to sleep that night. But the next morning, what does he do? He practices, and he practices, and he practices with one goal in mind, never to be laughed at again. And a year later, he goes back to the arena, and he steps up on that stage, and he plays the best motherfucking solo the world has ever heard. So imagine if John had just said, "Well, that's okay, Charlie, eh? That was alright. Good job." Then Charlie thinks to himself, "Well, shit, I did do a pretty good job." End of story. No bird. That, to me, is an absolute tragedy. But that's just what the world wants now. No wonder jazz is dying.
I want this one moment. It's what I want out of a relationship. Which explains why I'm single now. Haha. It's kind of hard to... It's that thing when you're with someone and you love them and they know it and they love you and you know it. But it's a party and you're both talking to other people and you're laughing and shining, and you look across the room, you catch each other's eyes, but not because you're possessive or it's precisely sexual, but because that is your person in this life. And it's funny and sad, but only because this life will end, and it's this secret world that exists right there in public, unnoticed, that no one else knows about. It's kind of how they say that different dimensions exist all around us, but we don't have the ability to perceive them. That That's what I want out of a relationship. Or just life, I guess. Love.
Every couple has their own little language, right? Like a dialect. Their own in-jokes and pet names and ways of phrasing things that you develop together. And I know that I've recycled them before, and I just don't want that to, like, I'll be talking in one guy's and ex's language, yeah? And I'll be making our jokes and saying things in ways that we developed together. And then I'll turn around and there'll be this completely different new guy in front of me, and he doesn't get it. Like, it's like English has been... He just thinks I've got this really weird way of talking and it's not funny or endearing or sexy. He just thinks I'm really weird. Like, imagine... Okay, so you've got a cheese grater, right? So the cheese graters with the 4 different sides, and they grate the 4 different like kinds of cheese gratings, okay? So imagine each one of those is a different relationship. Okay, so when I was with Stuart, I was grating my cheese on the side of the grater, and we created this weird shape, this weird cheese grating together, yeah? And then when I was with Clint, I carried on grating my cheese on that same side of the grater out of habit, and he'd lift up the grater and be like, well, what the fuck? Like, this isn't the mature cheddar that I know and love. I just want you to tell me all of your things so that I don't have to lift up the grater and find someone else's cheese in our kitchen.
God. He was perfect. He had those wide green eyes. He thought everything was funny. Every morning before I wake up and open my eyes, I listen for his laugh. I wake up, he'd be standing by the bed laughing. He thought it was hilarious that grown-ups have to sleep too. But now when I wake up, the house is so quiet. Rich has this tattoo on his back of the angel Gabriel. It's the first thing I see every fucking morning. It all comes rushing back and I want to die. I'm sorry. So now you know. And yes, I cut myself every once in a while. Because it makes me feel better. Look, I understand if I never see you again. Shall we leave? Monsieur, l'addition s'il vous plaît. Nous partons.
So, usually when people ask me how I'm doing, the real answer is I'm doing really shitty, but I can't say I'm doing really shitty because I don't have a good enough reason to be doing really shitty. And I say I'm doing really shitty, but then they're like, why? What's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know, all of it. So instead, when people ask me how I'm doing, I just say, I'm doing so great. But today, when the girl at the Jack in the Box asked me if I was having an amazing day, I was like, no, today I'm allowed to feel shitty. Today I have a good reason to feel shitty. So I said, well, my mum died. And she immediately burst into tears. And now I have to comfort her, which is annoying. And meanwhile, there's a queue of people forming behind me, giving me these really judgy looks because I made the girl at the Jack in the Box cry. And she's crying and she's sobbing and she's like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, it's fine, it's fine. I mean, it's not, but it's fine. And I'm like, you know, I'll take a double Jack meal and I've got somewhere to be, so maybe less with the crying and more with the frying, huh? And she apologizes again and she gives me a free churro with my meal. And as I'm leaving, I think my mum died and I just got a free churro. No one really tells you that when your mum dies, you get a free churro.
And they talked about sisterhood and patriarchy and politics, and, well, more to the point, about how they hated men. And so I said, doesn't anybody hate women? Doesn't anybody hate being a woman? Doesn't anybody hate being thought of as kind and gentle and understanding and supportive and patient and democratic and nurturing and reasonable and non-aggressive and friendly and self-sacrificing and fair-minded and cooperative? Doesn't anybody hate being thought of as nice, like a biscuit? Doesn't anybody want to be a hero? Doesn't anybody just love what men do and want to do it too? Isn't there anybody in here who isn't insanely jealous that they weren't born a boy? That they weren't born with the opportunity to do anything they wanted to do without having to apologize or justify or explain or feel guilty or awkward or feel like a freak or be ridiculed or ostracized or persecuted or wait till it's fashionable? And they said no. And I said, well, what's wrong with me then? Why am I such a freak? Why can't I just be a woman? What are you then? Oppressed, they said. Fine. Be that then.
I ran down 11 flights with a pen in my hand today, and suddenly I stopped. You hear me? In the middle of that office building. Do you hear this? I stopped in the middle of that building, and I saw the sky. I saw the things that I love in the world. The work and the food and time to sit and smoke. And I looked at the pen and I said to myself, what the hell am I grabbing this for? What am I doing in an office, making a contentious begging fool of myself when all I want is out there waiting for me the minute I say, I know who I am? Why can't I say that? A dozen, and so are you. I'm no leader of men, and neither are you. You were never anything more than a hardworking drummer who ended up in the ash can like all the rest of them. I'm $1 an hour. I tried 7 states and couldn't raise it. $1 an hour. Do you gather my meaning? I'm nothing. I'm nothing. Can't you understand that? I'm not bringing home any prizes anymore, and you're going to stop waiting for me to bring them home. I'm just what I am, that's all. There's no spite in it anymore. Will you let me go, for Christ's sake? Will you take this phony dream and burn it before something happens?
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I think that's how you're supposed to start these things. I don't know, I'm just going off of what I've seen in the movies. And then, I think you're supposed to say how long it's been since your last confession. But then, yeah, again, this is my first confession. And I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here other than sit here and tell you the things I've done wrong. So, here goes. I've been pretending to be a... How do you say in Catholic words? A harlot. It's not like I've been doing the things people have been saying I've been doing, but then, yet again, I'm not denying it. So I'm just wondering, is that wrong? I mean, there's a lot of bad things that's been going on in my school which may or may not be indirectly due to this masquerade. You caught me. I'm lying.
I may have caused the end of a marriage. And in my own perverse way, I thought I could help it.
Smile, pretty Alice. We both know one thing, the truth. We both know what you have done. We both know. Your poor husband, a good man at that, will never come to realize what a louse you truly are. A real whore is what you are. You think it was okay to spread your legs for that other fellow? You think it was excusable? Have you rationalized it to yourself and justified it in the face of God? You call yourself a holy woman. It's okay. I know you are not in a happy marriage. Smile, pretty Alice. Smile like the world shines at you. Smile as if it were okay to shame a man, yourself and your children. They should only know the real you. I hope the day never come when the truth is told. It will not be from my lips, but I will be told.
Château Haute-Brion, 1959. Magnificent wine. I love the French wine, just like I love the French language. I have sampled every language, and French is my favourite. Fantastic language, especially to curse with. Nom de Dieu de putain de merde de saloperie d'enculé ta mère. It's like wiping your ass with silk. I love it. You are here because you were sent here. You were told, and you obeyed. Of course, this is the way of all things. There is only one constant, one universal, one only real truth. Causality. Cause, effect, action, reaction. Choice is an illusion created between those with power and those without.
Why did she leave? If she loved us so much, why wasn't she here? She was never here. She was never fucking here. She left. I was 9. 9 and taking care of you. Taking care of all of us. I was in 4th grade, dragging your ass passed out in from the yard so you wouldn't freeze to death. Staying up all night with Ian when he had chicken pox. I washed Carl's shitty diapers. I picked lice out of Liam's hair. And I was here when Debbie got her first period. Not Monica. Me. Never you. You were too fucking loaded. She was a junkie and a drunk. She didn't love me. She didn't love you. She didn't give a shit about anyone but herself. I'm glad she's dead. At least now she can't fuck us over anymore.
Do you ever wonder what our lives would have been had we never put pen to paper? Had we never been afflicted by that curious condition which must you turn life into words? Yesterday, coming back from Keithley through the wood, I was looking at the trees
the autumn lights and trying to describe it for it is autumn in my story, when I came upon blackberry pickers, they sang as they worked. And there's not a single soul amongst them that can read or write. And yet I thought I would give anything to be one of them, to be part of the great thrum of life and activity, and to see the fruit of your own labor in front of you at the end of the day and know that it will be of use to others. They stopped when they saw me watching. They took off their hats and nodded, and I knew they wanted me gone. It was not a performance. The singing, it was not for me or anyone else. It was just for its own sake. Like breathing, they did it without knowing. They didn't need anyone to hear. Why do we need someone to hear us? Why is it not enough to be? Why do we do this? Why us? Why always? As far back as I can remember. I used to think that we can change things, that by telling the truth we could make a better world, but there are people living in poverty, terrible injustice and suffering, and we're right. What do we want? What is it for?
Now, where's my lawyer? Yeah. This is not stalking. Yeah, you caught me at the back of the house. And I know my restraining order says 100 yards minimum, but that's walking distance, not if the crow flies. Yeah, I've measured it. And it wasn't Susan that called you now, was it? No. It's that dodgy neighbour of hers. He's the one you should be checking out. I've got photos, loads of them. He just wants to get her drunk. No, I see myself more as a guardian angel. Yeah, I think I'm like Sting. You know Sting? Every breath you take, every step you make, I'll be watching you. Well, Simpson, I do believe you have got a semi. I hope that's not because of me. Or is it because your boss has got a lovely pair of tits? Now, where's my fucking lawyer?